this is the arcade. Now there's a lot to cover here, so I'm kind of just going to go around the room and go in a circle and kind of explain what we're looking at here. Yeah, there's a couple decent games in here. It's not a lot, like I said, it's not a lot, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's an arcade in my dining room. Usually our adventures take us into the middle of the woods to parts unknown, where we spend a half an hour walking around trying to find a rock. Or we go to a local anime convention where we spend $60 on porn. But for today's adventure, we're going someplace I never thought I would be filming a video at. We're going on an adventure to my house. My house is right here. That's where we're headed today.
Welcome to my house.
I recently built something inside my house that is really cool, and I hinted at it in last week's video from Pintastic New England. By the way, if you haven't seen that video, click up in the corner or check the links down below. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, then you would have seen this by now, and many people have wanted me to do a full tour of this thing. I'm gonna do it today, and this thing I'm talking about is an arcade. I built an arcade inside my house. It's not like a huge arcade. It's got a couple games in there, some decent games, but to me, it's really cool, and it's something I've wanted to share with you for a long time, and I think it's at a place now where if I do a video on it, it's kind of cool. It doesn't just have games everywhere. I got it all spread out. Anyways, enough talking about it. Let's go inside. I'll give you a little tour of my home arcade. Now, I wish there was some kind of grand reveal, but it's literally, as soon as you walk in the house, this is the arcade. Now, there's a lot to cover here, so I'm kind of just gonna go around the room and go in a circle and kind of explain what we're looking at here. Yeah, there's a couple decent games in here. It's not a lot, like I said, it's not a lot, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's an arcade in my dining room. We'll start over here, and I call this my wall of one-ups. This is my wall of arcade one-up machines. You have Galaga, Pac-Man, Asteroids, and Centipede. These are actually home arcade units. They sell these things at Walmart for like 300 bucks a piece. I will assure you, I did not pay $300 for any of these. If you know where to look, you can get these things pretty cheap. And what's cool about these is they have multiple games on them, but they're not crazy like a main machine. They just have a few games, and they're all related to what the dedicated cabinet is. So you have Galaga, Galaga and Galaxy, and Pac-Man, Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus. You have all Atari games. You got Asteroids, Major Havoc, Lunar Lander, and Tempest on this one. It even has the spinner knob to play Tempest. Now the stock arcade one-up spinner is absolute trash. So I do plan on upgrading this in the future. I guess arcade one-ups come out with an upgraded version of the spinner, so I do want to get that in the future. And then Centipede has Centipede, Missile Command, Crystal Castles, and Millipede, and it has the classic trackball to play Centipede, and you know, the 3 buttons for Missile Command. On the wall behind the one-ups, we have some movie posters. I went with like a Japanese movie poster theme. I don't know why. I just think it looks kind of cool. So we have the Tron Japanese movie poster right here, as well as the Return of the Jedi movie poster, and it's in Japanese. I don't know if you could tell by the writing right there. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought the Japanese movie posters looked cool. I don't know. I like that style much better than the regular English versions. Moving on from the wall of one-ups, we have the rest of the house, which isn't that interesting. But over here is the poster from Pintastic New England this year. Again, that video will be linked down below in case you missed our video from Pintastic. But there's the poster. I just like the artwork. I think the artist was actually at the convention, but I missed out on meeting him. There's a lot to do at Pintastic, but I can't wait to go next year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But anyways, that's just the poster. We'll move on to this. You're probably wondering, why is there an Xbox 360 in this room filled with retro style games? Why do we have a 360? Well, it's because of the game that's on the Xbox 360. If anyone knows what this game is, I'll give you a second to answer in the comments below. I mean, it's not going to make a difference because you're going to continue watching. It's Tron. That's Tron right there. Now, I want a Tron cabinet. I've wanted a Tron cabinet for like as long as I can remember. That's like the first arcade game I ever wanted was Tron. And unfortunately, Arcade 1-Up has not made a Tron machine yet. I feel like it's coming in the future, but they don't have one yet. So for now, I get to play Tron on this Xbox 360. Now, my original plan was to put Tron inside an Arcade 1-Up, because like I said, you can get these things pretty cheap at Walmart. but I want to put Tron inside one of the cabinets. Now, I don't really even know where to start with that. I don't even know how to wire a control panel or get a Raspberry Pi inside the arcade 1-up. So for now, we just get to play Tron here on the TV. That's as close as we're going to get to the arcade cabinet, because it's not too often you see Tron out in the wild, and if you want a cabinet for your house, it's pretty expensive. Here we have another poster from Pintastic New England. This is the Jersey Jack Willy Wonka pinball poster, and it's signed by the cast of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, as well as the designers of the pinball machine. We did a little interview with Mike TV and a little interview with Jersey Jack as well. Again, I'm gonna keep mentioning the Pintastic video because this video is like a sequel to that video. But yeah, this is the poster signed by the cast and the designers of the Willy Wonka pinball machine. This is kind of like the crown jewel. It's in like the center of the room, the first thing you see when you walk in. And just below that you have a Kiss neon clock, because you know everyone just needs a Kiss neon clock. Next to that is the radio. Play some music in here. And then here is something kind of cool. These are all mini arcade cabinets, and they actually work. So you have Galaga, Galaxian, Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Karate Champ, Bad Dudes, and then this one just has like 200 random games on it. I also have Burger Time down here. I want to get the entire collection and fill up the shelf, so my arcade, if you're watching and you'd like to send me the rest of the collection, I would love to add them to my arcade here. Now every few minutes I keep having to stop what I'm saying because this thing keeps going off and making loud music. This is the PGA Tour golf game. It's one of the rolling ball golf games, and it's so loud. The speakers are so loud. That's why I don't let it play. Like pinball keeps going in attract mode, and this one is just way too loud. I have it on the lowest volume setting, and still it will like blow out your eardrums. Now PGA Golf wouldn't be my first choice for an arcade game to purchase. I'm not a big golf fan, and I'm not a big fan of sports video games. I just don't get it when you can just go outside and play actual golf. Why would you play a golf game? But I kind of got this. Look, there it goes again. There it goes. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna start again because this thing is just too loud and too annoying. So just give me a minute. Anyways, as I was saying, I wouldn't have picked golf as my first choice for an arcade cabinet, but I got this in like a package deal with a few other games, so that's the only reason why I have this. I mean, it's a pretty fun game. It's in great shape, aside from the ugly, horrendous side art. It looks like somebody ripped off the side art, like they were gonna replace it or something. I need to get new side art for this, but it's like 80 bucks on eBay, and I really don't want to spend that on this stupid golf game. Other than that, it's in great shape. The trackball, it works really good, and the control panel is in pretty decent shape. I literally pulled this out of like a garage that the floor was falling apart. This is like the only thing that was still standing, so I'm surprised that it even worked. I mean, it started smoking when I first got it and plugged it in. But right now, yeah, it works great. And you can see the black lines coming down on the monitor. That doesn't happen in real life. It's just because cameras and TV screens don't work very well together. But yeah, PGA Tour Golf is in pretty good shape. I want to sell this thing and get a game that I actually want, but for now, it's just gonna live in the corner. By this point, you're probably wondering, how did this whole thing start? Well, it started with this, my Spring Break pinball machine. Now this is another game. Wouldn't have been my first choice for a pinball machine, but this was actually my grandfather's pinball machine, and he moved and he gave it to me, and I remember playing this at his house as a kid, so I've kind of kept it around for sentimental values, and it's a really fun game. But this is how it started. This is how my pinball obsession started, by playing this all the time as a kid, and then came to my house, and I was in my garage for a while, and I finally brought it in here, and then I began building the arcade, and the arcade isn't even done yet. But this is the machine that started it all. Never lose sight of one thing. It all started with a Spuds MacKenzie ripoff and really ugly back glass. The back glass is absolutely horrendous, but the machine itself is really cool. You got this like dog right here who's literally a Spuds MacKenzie ripoff, and then this chick who lost her top, and it looks like Spuds kind of ripped off her top, and it's just like, you know, like rock and roll beach theme, like definitely a machine from the 1980s. I mean, you can tell just by looking at it. And I like this little alligator holding a Fun in Florida guidebook, and I don't know, it's just a fun machine. You got 3 flippers in the front here, and these are the rubbers I bought at Pintastic. So here they are on my machine. And then the goal of the game is to spell vacation, and then you get multi-ball. One of the biggest complaints people have about this game is you literally start with multi-ball. You start off a game with 2 balls, and this machine is still making noise, so give me 1 second. Anyways, the goal of the game is to spell vacation. You hit the drop targets, you get a letter in vacation, then the thing flashes, you get a multiplier, you get multi-ball. It is a really, really fun game. It's got one ramp in the back here, which leads to this small flipper area. You can just bash those targets and get some good points from it. Yeah, you can blast, well, we'll get to that later. You can blast the targets in this game. So, pretty fun game. Spring Break by Gottlieb. That's a tongue twister right there for me anyway. This is my mini Pirates of the Caribbean pinball machine. In the last few videos I've mentioned I'm a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan, and I can't afford the real pinball machine, so I'll just go with what's second best, and it's this miniature Dead Man's Chest pinball machine. I think my biggest complaint with this thing is it does not have a proper back box, so to kind of ghetto rig it, I put this little light right here just to give it the illusion that you have some light coming from the back glass right there. I eventually want to cut this out and put in a proper Dead Man's Chest themed back glass, because if you know anything about Pirates of the Caribbean, this is all artwork from Curse of the Black Pearl, so they kind of cheaped out on that. I mean, I wish they had just put the movie poster on there or something. Just make it look better than that. It's just Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl artwork that's literally on the playfield. Like, could we get any more original? No, I don't think we could. I've done a few modifications of this thing, like I added Davy Jones up here. I added Jack Sparrow in the back, and Macus right there. I plan on doing a lot more mods than just that. I also upgraded the buttons, because the buttons that were originally on this thing, they were just absolute garbage. So I put in, like, these are real arcade quality buttons, and they're much better than the original buttons. The flippers kind of suck. I installed new flipper rubbers on there, and I also put a ball save post. I plan on putting a few more ball save posts in this thing, and I want to put like some sheet metal on the ramps, because the ball sometimes has trouble getting up the ramp. The ball is tiny. I actually installed a different ball. This is not the stock ball. I actually put in a smaller one so you could get up the ramps a lot better, and it still has trouble getting up the ramps. I don't know if it's just my machine or if it's all these Zizzle Pirates machines, but I cannot make it up the ramp. Even if I like hold the ball on the flipper, get it perfectly where I want it, take off the glass and everything, get it perfectly lined up, the ball just stops about right there on the ramp and just rolls back down. But anyways, enough about the Pirates pinball. Let's move on to the final machine in the arcade. Actually, before we do that, you're probably wondering why there's a huge gap right here. It's a perfect spot to put another game. So you're probably thinking, Ben, why don't you have another game right there? Well, actually, I have 2 games that were supposed to go right there, but neither of them work. They're actually out in the garage. So we're gonna go out there and we'll go check them out, and I'll show you the disappointment that was supposed to be sitting right here. No proper arcade is complete without having a shooting game, and that's kind of what I wanted to go for with my arcade inside. And I have 2 shooting games. Excuse the disaster zone that is my garage, but I had to make room to store these 2 things that I purchased in working condition. They were sold to me working. Well, there's a reason they're not inside the arcade, and that's because they work. I got them from 2 different people. This one I got in a deal with the crane machine and the golf game. It's called the Virtua Cop by Sega. Really cool game. It's got 2 guns right here, and this one was all smashed up, which was not in the Facebook listing. So I got screwed there. And then the game works perfectly fine, except there is no sound on the game. This game has no sound. I don't have it on right now because it obviously doesn't work, so why would I have it on? But yeah, there's no sound on this one. So unfortunately, Sega's Virtua Cop does not work. That's why it is not in the arcade. And then next up, we have a game I've always wanted to own because I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. This is Revolution X by Midway. As you can see, I have this one on because it was already plugged in, so I figured why not switch it on to show you that it doesn't work. Now, I can't go into too much detail about this thing for legal reasons. That's a whole ordeal in and of itself. I'll talk about it after it all blows over. But I was sold this thing, told it was working, told it worked great, got it home, plugged it in, and obviously it did this. It's not working. I mean, the guns light up and everything. The guns work. There's no sound, and there's no game. So unfortunately, I don't have an Aerosmith game to play, even though I would really, really like to, because Revolution X is a very fun game and would fit well in my arcade. Sorry if the echo is really annoying. I'm in a garage, so there's really nothing I can do about it. Now I think the Aerosmith machine would look great right there. Also, the other game would look fine there too. Either one. If I could just get one of them to work, I'd be happy. But I got completely ripped off, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Oh well. Let's move on to the last game here. It's this crane machine, the treasure chest. This thing is in pretty rough shape. It was even in rougher shape. Is rougher even a word? It was in, I don't know how to word it. More rougher shape, whatever. It was in pretty rough shape when I picked it up. Tresh and I cleaned this thing up, and now it looks pretty good. I mean, majority of the lights are out. There's no lights up here. There's no lights on the side. There's no lights on the back. The glass is pretty dirty, and I don't know what the hell's going on right here, but it's gross. I want to get a new marquee for this, like a new thing right here, and put better lights back there. We also have this sign up here that says Lit, because we refer to this as the Lit Arcade. That's what we've been calling it, because we don't have a name for it yet. We call it the Lit Arcade. We don't have a name for it yet. We need to work on a name. Inside the crane machine, we have some pretty cool prizes. Majority of these came from other crane machines. We were actually going to throw a lot of these out, and we said, you know what? We just got this new crane machine. Why not put them inside the crane machine? Some of them came from Santa's Village. You may recognize a few of these characters from former videos. I mean, there's really not much to say about the crane machine. It's a crane machine. We cleaned it up, put some animals in it. I mean, the wires are not that great. I mean, they're still hanging down and whatever, but hey, it's a crane machine in the Lit Arcade. And yeah, that's about it. This place looks really, really cool during the day, but where it really shines is at night. Literally shines, because we can flick on all the colorful lights, and this place will look totally different at nighttime.
A few moments later.
Yeah, this place looks much different at night. In my opinion, it looks much better. It really gives you that arcade feel. You get all the light up games, a dimly lit room. Whenever we have people over and stuff, obviously we have some music playing in the background, so it's not just the noise of the game. I definitely prefer it at night with all the fun lights. We actually used to have lights on the back of all these machines. They're kind of cool. They're like these puck looking lights, except for some reason two of them just died out on me. I don't know. I changed the batteries and everything, and they just don't work. But they look pretty cool if we could get all these going. So maybe one day in the future we'll get some replacement lights for the back of these machines. Anyways, I don't know how much more we can show off of the arcade. We've kind of done like a full tour, gone around the room a few times. I don't want to like overkill it, but I mean, come on. When you have an arcade in your dining room, like, you gotta show off. You gotta show off the coolness that is the Lit Arcade. Like I said, we don't have a proper name for the arcade yet. We really gotta come up with a name. So in the comments below, let me know a good name for the arcade. I want you to all help me name it. I think that just about does it for this arcade tour. I want to thank you so much for joining me as we wandered around my former dining room and checked out my arcade collection. As you can see, I'm a pretty big fan of arcades and arcade games, so I plan on doing a lot more arcade videos in the future. So if you enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm not like a gaming channel, I'm like a retro gaming channel. I just like arcades and like showing them off. So I plan on doing a lot more of this type of stuff in the future, and anytime a major change comes to the arcade, I'll definitely make sure to do an update. Now I know it's probably really annoying, the camera keeps going in and out of focus. It really doesn't do well in low light, so I gotta run. But if you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more arcade videos in the future, not from this arcade, but we'll go to other cool arcades in the future. If you'd like to see that kind of stuff, check out patreon.com/BenLawrence, where for as little as $1 a month, you can donate to future adventures, and you get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes bonus features. And don't forget to check out Ben Lawrence merchandise over on benlawrence.spreadshirt.com. You can get yourself a hat, a t-shirt. I think we might be adding stickers very soon, so be on the lookout for that. And if you want to see more update videos from the arcade, or just videos from arcades in the future, make sure to hit the subscribe button.